Next up, we're going to be talking to Debra Wallace Forman, an internationally syndicated feature and entertainment writer, a motivational speaker, a radio journalist with frequent credits in Family Circle, British Cosmopolitan, the Bucks County Courier-Times, and PopCultureMadness.com. And we've got her here on WNJC, Everything Special Needs. Debra, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Debra,
thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you on the program. And Debra from Autism Cares, and it is Autism Awareness Month, and you have quite the bio and the things that we just mentioned. Talk about some of the things that you've written about and some of your causes.
Well, I've written a lot about autism and acceptance and patience and love, because that's what it's about for children on the autism spectrum and all children, especially special needs children. And I've met an amazing group of people through the Autism Cares Foundation, and there are many programs and events. I've been a syndicated journalist for more than 25 years, and I've written about breast cancer awareness, and I've written about heart issues and health issues and legal ethics. But because I'm the mom of a 9-year-old son who has autism, and I've seen the joys and I've seen the difficulties, this is definitely near and dear to my heart. So I've done a lot of stories. I've interviewed Temple Grandin at length. I've interviewed her mother, Eustacia Cutler, and I've really gotten involved with this group of people locally and nationally who really care about one another, really want to make a difference in the world, and are raising money and raising awareness. And Autism Awareness Month is April, but it's all the time for us. We live it, and we see our children struggle, and we see our children triumph. I just took my son to Disney for the first time, and a lot of my friends with typical children said it's going to be too tough. You know, he's not going to stand in line. He's going to have meltdowns. He's going to have problems, and he did great.
That's good to hear. And how did he like Disney?
Loved Disney, loved Universal. Had a couple rides that were a little dark or scary, a couple long lines, but we got over it. We got through it. I've learned so much from my son and from the people at Autism Cares Foundation and other networks and connections that I've made about life. You know, you have a child and you want everything for them, and then you find out they have difficulties. And we all have difficulties. And then you sort of have to rethink everything in your life, and it's all about, I don't want Adam, my son, to do anything that he isn't capable of doing. We all want the best Adam that we can have. We want our children to thrive, whatever that looks like, whatever job, whatever life skills. You know, maybe he'll go to law school, and maybe he'll work at a computer, or maybe he won't do any of those things. But my expectations are that he be given every opportunity, and I've had to really be his advocate in the school system and in the community, and look at other parents when he's had a meltdown and said, you know, give me a hand. Don't judge me. You know, don't put on the hand dryers in the bathroom that are going to upset my child's sensory processing issues. You know, grab a paper towel and get everybody else to do that. So we all really need to accept one another, whatever our quirks or differences are, and embrace them and love our children for them instead of in spite of that.
You know, Debra, it's interesting. You talk about your son, Adam, 9 years old. Talk about how Autism Cares, this group, has helped you and has helped Adam.
I found Autism Cares Foundation when Adam was 3. He's now 9. And my late husband and I would take Adam to programs and events, sensory-friendly movies, bounce parties, different types of functions and events that typical children get invited to all the time, but special needs children get left out. And all these programs were kind of tailored. You know, the lights would be a little brighter and the sound would be a little lower. And we really felt like we had made some nice friends and made some connections. And then my husband had bad car accident and was very ill for several years. He passed away 3 years ago when Adam was 6. And as a widow and having a special needs child and kind of having to be in charge of everything, I really needed all the support that I could find. And I reconnected with Linda Cooper, the co-founder and CEO of this amazing group. And she asked me to try to spread the word about Autism Cares. And in my trying to help them, she in turn embraced Adam and I. And when I'm having a good day, I can say, oh my God, he did a diorama of dinosaurs, and he's getting a great mark and he's doing great in second grade. And I can always also call her when I feel like the school system's not giving us enough services, or, if I have a question about something, and she might know, she probably does know, a speech therapist or an OT or a professional in her network, in her group of, experts who can help us. So it's really become an extended family. She's got some 800 families have attended events,
wow,
more than 150 events in the past year alone.
That's amazing. You're listening to Everything Special Needs, 1360 AM WNJC, or online at WNJCradio.com. Sue Schilling here with you. We're talking to Debra Wallace Forman, talking about the group Autism Cares. And Debra, you mentioned how sadly you lost your husband, and Adam lost his father 3 years ago. So it's obviously been a rough road for you and for Adam. But it seems like you've really inspired others by being able to pick up the pieces. Talk a little bit about that road and picking up the pieces and moving forward.
I think you have two choices when life knocks you down. There were days when I wanted to put Adam on the bus and go back to bed and pull the covers over my head. But I didn't. I felt like I owed it to Adam, myself, the memory of my late husband, and I'm made from pretty empowered women's stock. My mom was always a go-getter. She taught me from a very young age to pursue my dreams, and with hard work and perseverance and love, I could become a writer, I could become a journalist, I could win awards and have this great career. And my husband was such a champion that to let that all fall by the wayside, I couldn't do that for any of us. So I mustered up the courage, and I have wonderful sisters, a great mom, some wonderful friends who have pitched in when I've needed babysitters at the last minute to do some heavy-hitting interviews. And I poured my heart out when my husband of 22 years died, and I just had these stories sitting around, and a friend of mine said, why don't you submit them to Chicken Soup for the Soul? And I thought that would be really exciting if one of them got published in Harry's memory, and both of them were published.
So what's the name of the book? I'm going to have to get the book.
One of them is called Reboot Your Life, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Reboot Your Life. And the other one's name escapes me right this minute. But they're both pretty recent. And they're just stories about, one of them is a story about how to find hope after despair, and about not giving up, and about finding the good in life. I mean, my son is his father. Stubborn, wonderful, smart, good with math and intricate things. And that's the other thing I have found from spending time with Linda Cooper's son from the Autism Cares Foundation, and my own son and other people's sons and daughters. They all have gifts. I don't care that they're special needs. They all have talents. My son, who's having difficulty learning how to read in second grade, and he's doing well, can now memorize 20, 30, 40-page Dr. Seuss, Berenstain Bears. I don't know about you. I can't memorize 30 pages of anything.
My memory goes.
And I never could. And this child knows the names of 100 dinosaurs. And if he likes something, if they're good at it, if they're excited about it, then they learn the facts and figures. And we have to build on that. I wish every speech therapist and OT and PT and behaviorist would go to the child's home, talk to the mom or dad, and say, what does your child love? Is it Disney? Is it movies? Is it iPad? Whatever that is, meet that child. where they are. Because we had a speech therapist, Shelley Brownstein, who's in the Oxford Valley area, and she sat at her kitchen table when Adam had 20, 30 words, and my husband would take him and I would take him, and we watched her in action, and it was like, magic. The Pied Piper, Dr. Doolittle, she would find Chicken Little toys and Monsters University, whatever it was that the child was excited about, animals, pictures of anything, and she had it. And she had Easter toys and Christmas toys and Hanukkah toys, and we would go home and take that hour that she worked with him, and my husband and I would each work with him for an hour, 2, 3, 4, and all weekend long. And Adam is very, very verbal, and people say, where did it come from? Well, I don't know. It's a lot of things, but we never just relied on the services that we were provided or that we paid for. We felt that we had to help him become the best child he could be, and that's all you can do. If you can't afford it, then you find, helpers. I wish every community there was teenagers and retirees and moms and dads who are teachers, who are athletes, who have all kinds of skills. If every one of them donated an hour a week to a child who's having difficulty with some issue because they're special needs or not, somebody with math skills, somebody with reading, and just donated that to the parents going through this, think how our children could thrive. And that's what Linda Cooper does. She finds people, she lights a fire under them, they want to help, and it's all, we go to these events and everybody's hugging and sending you soup if you're sick, and, just that support is what we really need.
Now, about your son Adam, so he is 9 years old, and what grade is Adam in?
He's in second grade. My husband and I held him back. He repeated kindergarten, once private and then once public. And he's in autism support half the day and typical second grade classroom the other half of the day. And the kids love him. He's learned, he's very affectionate. He used to hug a little bit too tight or get in people's personal space. One of the things about autistic children, they just don't understand a lot of the social conventions. And he's learned through modeling, being with some of the typical children. But the autistic support teacher is also helping him with some of his learning issues. And but when he first started school, the lawnmower and the leaf blower and all those noises outside the window would have him in a panic, and he couldn't verbalize it, and he would cry and he would tantrum. And now we wait for the bus, and I live in suburbia, and I hear all these noises, and we put our hands over our ears and we talk about it, and he says, well, we're going to be fine, Mom. We'll get through this. It's okay. So you don't always lose these quirks and these problems. You learn, the children and the parents learn how to cope with them and sort of get through them. And I can't say enough about the Autism Cares Foundation. I just fell in love with Linda and Frank Cooper and their son Frank and their son Michael, who's 17. They started this whole group because Michael was diagnosed with autism when he was 2.5, and a few years later they realized he wasn't getting invited to parties and he wasn't going to be accepted at the way that their typical son was, and they wanted him to have friends and they wanted him to be involved, and now there's hundreds of children who go to teen proms, bowling parties, fitness classes, glee clubs, swimming classes. I mean, Linda is just a very creative, loving person who just found a way to reach these children and help the siblings and help the grandparents and help the parents. And it's may I mention the website?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, it's autismcaresfoundation.org. And do you want the phone number?
Yes, it could, because that was my next question to you.
Okay.
If somebody's
sure, if anybody wants to call.
Yeah, they might be listening, and it sounds so good that they want it for
absolutely.
For themselves.
We could use donations. People coming to our events. It's 215-942-2273.
Okay, and you guys are located where?
The organization is located in Richboro in Bucks County, and the organization recently was approved to become a charity in New Jersey, very recently, and we've had one event. They've had one event, and they're looking for people who are interested in helping start other chapters. They will soon become certified as a charity, registered as a charity in New York and Delaware as well. So they've been around for 6-7 years in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, and various suburbs. But there's a lot of people out there who really need the support and the programs and the life skills. There's an iPad class that we have locally that the children and the parents come and learn some extra skills. And eventually, Linda's concerned because Michael and his peers are going to get out of their teen years, and some of them are already over 21, and she's worried what's going to happen when their caregivers are no longer with us. And so she's raising money for a future group home, hopefully in this area or nearby, where these people can thrive and live and have wonderful lives and do some kind of work-oriented program.
What are some of the events that are coming up?
Well, our big event is the 6th annual gala and auction. It's a beautiful, elegant affair with dinner and a silent auction and a live auction at the Spring Mill Manor. That's in Ivyland in Bucks County. Tickets are still on sale for another couple days, and a lot of very exciting auction items, and that's one of our 2 big fundraisers for the year, and that's Saturday the 18th of April, this coming Saturday.
So that's coming right up. So can someone still register? They just go on your website?
Yep, just go to autismcaresfoundation.org and check us out and come to the gala or make a donation or see, if there's some events coming up in the future that they want to participate in.
And some other more maybe weekly events or just some other events. What would be some samples of some of the events coming up?
She takes everybody to the local Bounce U for like a jumping party and those big moon bounces. There's Autism Awareness Night on April 25th at the Phillies, and the Phillies donate a portion of the ticket sales to the Autism Cares Foundation. They do swimming, they do bowling, they do sensory-friendly movies every couple months. We saw the SpongeBob movie. We've seen Frozen, and whatever the big movie is at the moment. They have a weekly fitness session for the teenagers, and that's located in Newtown. The iPad classes in Hatboro, and a majority of the events are offered free, which is why the fundraising is so important. The iPad class is one of the few classes that there is a fee because you have to hire a teacher and materials and all that.
It's interesting. The guest that was on before you, the young lady, Jessica Levy, who's in the 8th grade, and as part of her award for the Girl Scouts Silver Award, she did a special needs talent show, and the kids that participated loved it. It's hard for them to participate in talent shows, but everybody was a winner. Everybody was able to participate, and it was kind of cool to hear about. Would this be an event that might be something that you guys would participate in? It sounds like it just seems like it would be thrilling for the kids.
Absolutely. Linda's really open to new ideas, and if she can find the space and the time and people want to come to it. I mean, in the future, we have a new building in Southampton, Pennsylvania, and they've had some fun clubs there and glee club there, and I think in the future her idea is to invite occupational therapists and speech therapists and have other kinds of events and fun activities for the kids and the parents, and just for people to connect. And the connection is just as important. When you're having a bad day and things just aren't going well with any child, to look at another mom and have a deep sigh and say, I couldn't find something. Children on the spectrum tend to be very rigid, and if they can't find a special toy, they don't want to go to bed. And they just like routine, and they like consistency and continuity, which is good for all children. And life isn't that consistent. Things don't always work out. And my son is always saying to me, Mommy, but that's not fair. And I try to say to him, you do the best you can, and sometimes it's not fair. So the programs are amazing, the events are amazing, but being able to make connections with people, who are one big, loving, extended family is the biggest gift that I can imagine for my son and myself.
You had mentioned that there was an event in New Jersey. Where was that event?
The event was in North Jersey.
Okay.
And
so
the town escapes me.
That's all right. We're just more the area. So hopefully, the people that are listening in South Jersey, they're welcome to come to your guys' chapter, but hopefully we can there might be some chapters opening a little bit closer to the South Jersey area.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think Linda's hoping that people who are interested in this, all it takes is a couple moms or parents or families to say, yes, this is something that we need, and contact Linda, and she would help lay the groundwork, and then maybe turn it over to somebody who's local, who could help with some local fundraising and some local venues, and make it all happen. But if anybody can do it, certainly Linda Cooper can. She's quite an amazing woman.
If people can come from anywhere to participate in your events, if they're in Pennsylvania, so they're
absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely. Somebody goes to autismcaresfoundation.org and signs up to get our email blast and wants to come to one of our events to try it out or meet everybody or learn something or find a new extended family, absolutely. Everybody's welcome. They sell out pretty fast. So once you get the blast or once you hear about it, I encourage people to sign up pretty quickly.
All right, one last question from me. You had mentioned that you've done some motivational speaking. Give us a sample of some of the things that you would say to your audience. Maybe give us like a 2-minute sample of a little bit of your spiel.
My grandfather owned a clothing store, and from the time that I was 8 years old, I worked there. And Grandpa Sam taught me to find a way. If you can't go in the front door, go in the back door. If you can't find a back door, find a window. And do it with honesty and integrity and the highest of ethics, but make things happen. I'm not the person, we weren't the people who everything fell in our laps. We worked hard, but we had goals, we had dreams, and you can make things happen. And I certainly didn't think at 56 years old I would be a widow. I mean, it's I cried for 2 years, and then I stopped crying, and I made some new friends, and I hung on to some old friends, and I really celebrated, this wonderful, loving child. Instead of, you can look at the glass half full, you can look at it half empty, or you can just accept that it's going to be different ways at different times, and you're going to be here, hopefully, in a month or 3 months or 6 months or 6 years. Do you want to be having this conversation with me at that time and say, I really wanted to do that. I really wanted to pursue my dream, open a business, have a child, go on a vacation, change my house. You really want to have this same conversation 6 months or a year, or do you want to get off your tush and go do it? And you can do it. You are the one. If you believe in yourself, I think that's why Adam has done so well. We believed in him from every moment. And when my husband before he passed away, he said, do right by our boy. Make sure that everything you do in your life is with kindness and love and respect, and push him as much as you can without pushing him over the edge. And that's how I live my life. You can do what you need to do if you believe in yourself. If you don't have the education, go seek it. If you don't have the money, try to find loans. There is a way to make your world the way you want it. You have the power to do it.
All right, that's good stuff. Where are you speaking next?
I never give up. Never right. Give up, Sue. That's me.
Absolutely, and you'll have to email me where you're speaking, and we'll get the word out to the audience, because I would
love that. If somebody group is looking, I do a lot of synagogues and churches and community centers, and if somebody wants to they can contact me at Debra Wallace at Verizon.net.
Okay, and how does a Boston soy candle sound to you? It comes with essential oils, a great group of young men, special needs young men from Yard Work and more. They do amazing products. They've been donating some things for Autism Awareness Month, so we can get you an autism pin, and we can get you a Boston soy candle of your choice. I'll get you, I have your email, so I'll put you in contact with the people from Yard Work and more, and that way you can pick the candle that you like.
I love that. Thank you. And I'm actually want to do a series of stories for one of my outlets on various businesses that are being set up where children and teenagers and young adults with autism and other special needs are making things and building things and
my
doing
girl
things
Betsy,
like candle. I think that's amazing. Yeah. I really do.
She's been on the program before, so you'll get the soy candle. I will I'll give her your email, and then you guys can set that up.
Great.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming on the program, Debra. It was really a pleasure having you. Amazing insight. My best of luck to you and your 9-year-old son, Adam, and all the great work that you guys are doing.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. You're listening.